November 11th, 2022. A federal bankruptcy filing. 30 pages, that's all it took. One document ended the careers of thousands. One document wiped out the savings of millions. One document turned the second largest crypto exchange in the world into nothing. Sam Bankman-Fried was 30 years old. He was worth $16 billion on paper. He was on the cover of Forbes. He was called the next Warren Buffett. He was testifying before Congress about how to fix financial regulation. 72 hours later, he was broke. His company was gone. And the money wasn't missing. It had never really been there. How does a company worth $32 billion disappear in a single week? How does a man celebrated as crypto's savior become its most notorious criminal? And how did the entire financial world miss it? This is the story of FTX, the fastest collapse of a major financial institution in modern history. And it started, not in a boardroom, not in a courtroom. It started in a dorm room at MIT. Samuel Benjamin Bankman-Fried was not supposed to be here. He studied physics at MIT. He graduated in 2014. He took a job at Jane Street Capital, a legendary quantitative trading firm. He was good, exceptionally good. He understood arbitrage the way most people understand breathing. In 2017, he saw the opportunity. Bitcoin was trading for different prices on different exchanges, sometimes thousands of dollars apart. He and a small team executed what traders call arbitrage: buy low in one market, sell high in another, pocket the difference. According to later interviews, he personally made millions in months. In 2019, he founded Alameda Research, a quantitative crypto trading firm. It was funded with less than $1 million within a year. It was moving hundreds of millions in daily volume. Then came FTX, founded in 2019 alongside co-founder Gary Wang, a derivatives exchange built for professional traders, faster than competitors, more sophisticated, with lower fees. It grew with terrifying speed. By 2021, FTX was processing $10 billion in daily trading volume. It had secured investments from Sequoia Capital, SoftBank, BlackRock, Ontario Teachers' Pension Plan, household names, institutions that conduct rigorous due diligence, or so we assumed. FTX's valuation hit $32 billion in January 2022. Bankman-Fried's personal net worth was estimated at $16 billion by Forbes. He signed the Giving What We Can pledge. He spoke openly about effective altruism. He appeared on every major financial media platform. He testified before the Senate Banking Committee in February 2022. He was calm. He was articulate. He was advocating for smarter crypto regulation. He was telling regulators how to regulate him. The world believed in Sam Bankman-Fried. That belief was worth $32 billion, and it was built on something that court documents would later describe as fraud. The first crack appeared in the numbers, not publicly, not yet, but inside Alameda Research. Something was deeply wrong. Alameda was FTX's sister company. Bankman-Fried had founded both. He had a financial relationship between them that no one on the outside could see clearly. The Wall Street Journal later reported that Alameda had borrowed from FTX customer funds. Not a small amount, billions of dollars, used for trading, used for investments, used for real estate. Court documents revealed that Alameda had a secret line of credit with FTX, an exemption from the automatic liquidation rules that applied to every other user on the platform, while regular customers got margin called. Alameda did not. According to prosecutors, this arrangement began as early as 2019. The same year FTX launched. Caroline Ellison was Alameda's CEO. She was 28 years old. She had also dated Bankman-Fried. Internal communications obtained by prosecutors showed she was aware of the relationship between the two firms. Gary Wang, FTX co-founder and chief technology officer, allegedly coded the exemption directly into the platform's software. According to his later guilty plea, he did this at Bankman-Fried's direction. There were warnings. Former Alameda employees raised concerns. In 2021, a group of senior Alameda staff resigned. They told colleagues the firm was being mismanaged. The details at that time were unclear. No major media outlet investigated. In 2022, the crypto market began collapsing. Bitcoin dropped from $68,000 in November 2021 to below $20,000 by June 2022. Algorithmic stablecoin Terra Luna collapsed spectacularly in May 2022. Multiple crypto lenders, including Celsius and Voyager, filed for bankruptcy. Bankman-Fried positioned FTX as the industry's rescuer. He bailed out Voyager. He provided emergency credit to BlockFi. He appeared to be the adult in the room. What no one knew was that Alameda was bleeding, and it was using FTX customer funds to stay alive. The walls were closing. The customers had no idea. And then, someone looked at the balance sheet. November 2nd, 2022, CoinDesk published a leaked document. It was Alameda Research's balance sheet. $14 billion in total assets. But here was the problem. Nearly $6 billion of those assets were in FTT tokens, FTX's own native cryptocurrency, a token that FTX itself had created. This was not a diverse balance sheet. This was a house of cards. Alameda's largest asset was a token controlled by its sister company, Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance. FTX's largest competitor saw the report. On November 6th, he announced on Twitter that Binance would liquidate its entire FTT holdings, approximately $500 million worth. He cited risk management concerns. The market reacted immediately. FTT's price began falling. Then came the bank run. Within 48 hours, customers began withdrawing funds from FTX at a rate the exchange couldn't handle. According to court documents, approximately $6 billion in withdrawal requests came in over a 72-hour period. FTX could not process them. The money wasn't there. On November 8th, Bankman-Fried announced that Binance had signed a letter of intent to acquire FTX. The crypto world exhaled. The rescue was coming, but within 24 hours, Binance walked away. The firm cited its own due diligence findings. It cited reports of mishandled customer funds. It cited regulatory investigations. Binance called it too complicated. That was an understatement. On November 9th, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas froze FTX digital markets assets. The Bahamas was where FTX was headquartered. Regulators moved in. Employees were reportedly in shock. On November 10th, Bankman-Fried posted a now infamous series of tweets. He said he was sorry. He said FTX had enough assets to cover positions. He was wrong. Court documents later showed FTX had a shortfall of at least $8 billion in customer funds. November 11th, FTX filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Bankman-Fried resigned as CEO. John Ray III, the restructuring specialist who oversaw Enron's bankruptcy, was named the new CEO. In his first court filing, Ray said he had never seen such a complete failure of corporate controls in his entire career. The money, $8 billion of customer money, was gone. This is where the story gets darker, much darker. Because what investigators found inside FTX's corporate structure wasn't just mismanagement. It was something else entirely, something that will shock you. The question isn't just where the money went. The question is, how long had it actually been gone, and who else knew? Stay with us. On December 12th, 2022, Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas at the request of United States authorities. He was extradited to the United States on December 21st. He was charged with 8 counts of fraud and conspiracy. The charges included wire fraud, securities fraud, and campaign finance violations. Federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York built the case. His closest associates flipped immediately. Gary Wang pleaded guilty in December 2022. Caroline Ellison pleaded guilty in December 2022. Ryan Salame, FTX co-CEO of its Bahamas subsidiary, pleaded guilty to campaign finance violations. Nishad Singh, FTX's director of engineering, pleaded guilty in February 2023. All 4 cooperated with prosecutors. The trial began October 3, 2023, in a Manhattan federal courtroom. The government called witness after witness. Caroline Ellison testified for 3 days. She described in devastating detail how Alameda borrowed from FTX customer funds. She described spreadsheets she prepared that showed the true state of Alameda's borrowing. She stated that Bankman-Fried directed her to prepare alternative versions of those spreadsheets to deceive lenders. The jury deliberated for just 4 hours and 45 minutes. On November 2nd, 2023, exactly 1 year after the CoinDesk article, Sam Bankman-Fried was found guilty on all 7 counts. The 8th count had been severed from the trial. Sentencing came March 28, 2024. Judge Lewis Kaplan sentenced Bankman-Fried to 25 years in federal prison. Prosecutors had requested 40 to 50 years. The defense had argued for 5 to 6 years. The judge landed at 25. Bankman-Fried was ordered to forfeit $11 billion. The The victims were everywhere. Individual retail investors from around the world. The Ontario Teachers' Pension Plan lost $95 million. Sequoia Capital marked its investment in FTX to zero. A $210 million investment. Gone. SoftBank reported losing $100 million on FTX. BlockFi, which FTX had nominally rescued, filed for bankruptcy itself in November 2022, citing exposure to FTX. John Ray's restructuring team did something unexpected. They actually found money. By mid-2023, they had recovered billions of assets. By early 2024, they announced recovery rates of above 100 cents on the dollar for some creditor classes, the final outcome better than almost anyone had predicted, though billions in losses to the broader crypto ecosystem remained. The U.S. political world was also shaken. Prosecutors alleged Bankman-Fried had directed over $100 million in political donations across both parties. Ryan Salim pleaded guilty to making illegal campaign contributions. The donations had been routed in ways that allegedly violated federal law. Several recipients returned contributions. The FTX Foundation and its effective altruism commitments evaporated. Bankman-Fried had pledged to give away his entire fortune. He did, just not in the way he described. Regulators moved aggressively across the board. The SEC and CFTC both filed civil charges. Congress accelerated crypto regulatory proposals. Multiple international regulators launched their own proceedings. Crypto was not destroyed, but it was changed. Here is the uncomfortable truth about FTX. It was not an anomaly. It was a mirror. Sam Bankman-Fried did not build something in secret. He built something in public, and everyone cheered. Sequoia Capital, BlackRock, SoftBank, the United States Senate, Forbes magazine, institutional investors who should have known better, chose not to look. Why? Because the returns were real, the narrative was compelling, and in a world of 0% interest rates and unlimited liquidity, no one wanted to be the person who asked the wrong question. Bankman-Fried understood something most people don't. Reputation is a financial instrument. It can be borrowed against. It can be leveraged. And when it collapses completely. He was not the smartest person in the room. He was the most effective at making others believe he was. $32 billion, built in 3 years, gone in 72 hours, and somewhere inside those numbers is a lesson about how we decide who to trust and why we trust them. The next Sam Bankman-Fried is already out there. They're probably on the cover of something right now. Here is the question for the comments today. Was Sam Bankman-Fried a calculated fraudster from the beginning? Or did a legitimate business spiral into fraud under pressure? Drop your answer below. Make your case if you believe in following money wherever it leads. Subscribe. Next week, we're going inside the collapse of Archegos Capital. How one man hid $100 billion in secret bets from the world's biggest banks and almost got away with it. Don't miss it.